Now, progress made on COVID-19 vaccines is undoubtedly positive. However, many scientists are also warning about the threat of coronavirus mutating further in a way that makes it more contagious and could potentially render vaccines less effective. We were talking about that about half an hour ago. Well, that is why trials are still taking place into different treatments. One of those is at the University of Southampton, where a new treatment that is inhaled by patients has been shown to reduce the odds of serious disease by up to 82%. Well, joining me now is Sir Stephen Holgate, Professor of Immunopharmacology at the University of Southampton. And he also co-founded the biotech company Synergen, which helped produce the treatment for the university. Good to talk to you. So, first of all, tell us, what is it that these patients are inhaling?
Well, hello, Jane, and thank you for inviting me on the programme. I think the important thing here is to understand that we've learned a lot about this terrible disease in the last 9 to 10 months. And there seems to be an important deficiency in the way humans who develop bad disease are able to defend themselves against this virus. And the treatment we've developed is to put back and replace that missing material. We call it interferon beta, which helps the body fight the virus and enables the body to diminish the impact of the virus on the lung.
So it's essentially making the body stronger to fight the virus itself?
Yes, and of course it acts independent of any mutation, because we know there have been nearly 12,000 mutations in this virus since it was discovered. I mean, only a small handful are having effects, but I mean, we've heard today about the Brazilian mutation. So what we really want to do is to make sure we have good treatments, novel treatments, which are really going to help people recover from this disease and prevent the progression into long COVID and other complications later on, as well as stopping them going into hospital.
We have heard about other drugs that can have an impact. Hydroxychloroquine and dexamethasone also have been mentioned in previous weeks. What's the difference between inhaling a drug to alleviate symptoms and perhaps injecting it?
Well, of course, if you have an inhaled drug, you could take it at home. It's non-invasive. So we are doing a trial at the moment, and our major trial across the world will incorporate this, whereby patients using a video and their computers are told how to take the drug and to try and see if we can prevent them from going into hospital in the first place. Of course, injected drugs can't be used in that way. And the drugs you mentioned are off-the-shelf drugs. The mechanistic behavior of the disease really hasn't informed their particular use. Although, as you know, the big recovery trial is looking at aspirin and plasma and a variety of other off-the-shelf treatments. But the one we're describing here is entirely novel.
What is this interferon beta? Is there anything naturally that people could take or eat or inhale that replicates the drug?
Well, that's a terrific question, actually, and it's one that does deserve actually more research now. We know that the virus, when it enters into the lung, switches on a whole cascade of changes inside the cell that should, in normal people, generate this interferon. But in people with chronic obstructive lung disease or with cardiovascular disease, diabetes, the elderly, people with genetic abnormalities, they can't make it properly. So in a way, we're trying to put back something that's missing. So what I think would be very good would be to have some research to think about what it is we could take to enhance the ability of the body to generate its own interferon. This virus, of course, unfortunately, has mutated so that it avoids the interferon pathway that we are able to generate normally. But fortunately, our treatment, this new treatment, is able to protect the cells to stop the virus traveling down the lung and causing more problem as it goes forward.
I mean, this isn't new, isn't it, inhaling drugs? These drugs have previously been used for things like MS, I understand.
Yes, a systemic injectable, that is, interferon beta, has been widely used successfully in MS. There have been clinical trials of injectable interferon in COVID-19 as well, and they failed. And the reason why they failed is that they're not getting into the lung in high enough concentrations. So this is why the inhaled route is so important. And we know as a consequence, the side effects from this inhaled form are zero. So this is really a non-invasive and quite acceptable treatment to patients.
So there needs to be more testing done on this, doesn't it, before it's potentially widely available? Where are we at that with the testing?
Yes, well, yesterday we announced international trials, both in the United States and across the world, within European and non-European countries. And we hope probably by early summer we'll have the outcome of all of these trials. And then if they're positive, which of course we hope they will be, based on the results of our earlier, smaller trial, then we hope it'll be registered quickly and made available worldwide.
And how quickly could the actual drug be produced, and in what quantities? Because obviously there have been a lot of issues with the current vaccine in terms of the logistics of getting it out there and actually making it. I mean, we've talked about things like glass vials not being readily available. When you're talking about something being inhaled, it suggests that there would be a certain amount of equipment needed with it. How easy or quick is it to manufacture all of that?
Yeah, so all of that's important. And of course, recognising what's happened with the vaccine, Synergen is working with colleagues around the world to make sure we do have sufficient material, sufficient nebulizers. Those are the things that give the aerosol that people breathe in, to be available, to be able to treat very, very many patients worldwide. Obviously, we do need to get the results of our trials in place. We are preparing to make multi-million doses of this. We're putting in the manufacturing of both the nebulizers and the inhaled drug in place. So by the time we get to the summer, we hope all of that will be ready.
Could this work on any virus by stimulating these chemicals in the body?
Yes, of course. And the reason we got into it in the first place is that we were developing this treatment for chronic obstructive pulmonary disease and bronchial asthma when they had severe virus infections. And we've done clinical trials to show it works in those patients, whether it's influenza virus or coronavirus or any other virus. So we do know that the drug works, and we do know that it's safe given by this route. So we've got a great leg up here with this particular treatment.
I mean, I suppose another benefit of it is for things like care homes. It's much easier to administer, isn't it? People who would have to be taken somewhere to have an injection potentially would be able to do this in a care home setting.
Yes, Jane, absolutely. And of course, we could potentially use it to prevent virus from infecting people within such environments, because we do know that the way this works is to induce over 600 different antiviral protection mechanisms within a single individual if they inhale it. So that if we knew people were getting outbreaks within a care home, then maybe this could actually prevent it from spreading further.
Interesting stuff. Good to talk to you. Sir Stephen Holgate there.
Thank you.
Let's go look at the weather.